What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be breaking down why Boxi plays the best Tusk out of pretty much any pro player out there. FY is also an amazing Tusk player, but today we're going to be talking about Boxi and what impact he actually had in winning the TI Grand Finals. Now, he had an absolute extreme impact on his Tusk. It was a hero that wasn't very contested in TI. It wasn't a hero that was picked quite a lot, but it's a hero that Boxi's always been comfortable on, and it's one of these heroes that can have so much potential, so much save, and also quite a bit of damage. You can never sleep on the amount of damage Tusk can actually do thanks to his tag team facet. But what surprised me the most is that Boxi was actually playing with a drinking buddies facet, which was pretty much underlooked when this facet came out. It wasn't a really good facet in my opinion, but I never really gave it a shot. I never really played it too much, and I would always play around the tag team because that's pretty much what I was used to pretty much the whole time, because that's what has been Tusk's ability for such a long time. And playing with drinking buddies opened my eyes to how strong this ability actually is, but it also depends on your playstyle. Boxi loves playmaking, loves turning team fights, and loves being able to outplay his opponents. Now with tag team, you're only going to be able to offer raw damage. You're not going to be doing a whole lot. But when you're playing with drinking buddies, you have movement speed and attack damage as well. You can also pull your allied unit towards you, but if you put it on alt cast, Tusk is the one that moves closer to his ally. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to save, you're going to have it on alt cast. If you're trying to make a different kind of play, then you can pull them closer to you. There's so many different plays you can do with the drinking buddies. It's such an important kit of playing Tusk the way he likes to play it and have this play style. The only way he's going to be able to accomplish that to the best of his ability is going to be with drinking buddies, and I think it should be the support way to go. If you're playing support Tusk, you should be using drinking buddies. I think if you're playing core Tusk, which isn't super popular right now, you should be playing with the tag team facet. It's just more overall damage, and the build is completely different. If I do have one thing to criticize about Boxi and the way he likes to build heroes in general, is that he's not very greedy. And I know it's kind of shitty of me to be criticizing a pro player who just won TI, because I'm definitely absolute shit. That's the one thing I want to criticize, is that he could have been a lot more efficient when it comes to his items in this game, but he's the type of player that goes more for playmaking, looks for these micro plays, doesn't really focus a whole lot on items, and that's definitely okay. That's what works for him. Personally, I would have liked to see him get mana boots or even tranquil boots, because he was struggling with regen. He was buying quite a bit of regen when it comes to clarities, when it comes to mangoes, when it comes to healing salves. So he could have definitely went a better route and would have been a little bit more efficient with his gold. But at the end of the day, these guys are focusing on so many things at the same time. They don't really care a whole lot about items when it comes to supporting. He could have gotten his items a lot faster. Now Tusk is the type of hero that gets his farm mainly from assist gold and maybe the odd kill here and there when you're playing support, and from getting stacks. But at the end of the day, you're not really farming a whole lot around the map. The hero just doesn't farm very well because you're not able to max ice shards, you're not able to max snowball quite quickly enough. You have to max drinking buddies because you are a support, and that's not going to help you farm a whole lot. It's not going to be very beneficial for you. Another thing that just in general I want to recommend to newer players and players aspiring to be better support players and climbing in MMR is just watch pro replays. There's so much you can learn from pro replays that you won't be able to learn in your regular games. You can learn, jot down some notes, and then take that into action into your gameplay, and you're going to see how much more of a difference you're going to see in your gameplay because you're going to be applying these tactics. Now, obviously you're not going to improve right away, but it might be simple things. Honestly, you might be a really good player, but you're lacking in the basics, and basics are really hard to actually get down to a perfect T. But if you watch some pro replays, you're going to be able to learn much more. Watch what they do in their downtime, watch what they do and how do they rotate, watch when they actually decide whether to actually rotate or just let their core die because there's nothing they're going to do. Because what ends up happening in low MMR games is that you're going to have a support mass TP just to save a carry, when sometimes that fight is pretty much dead, and just by you TPing, you're not going to be able to offer a whole lot. Meanwhile, you could have pressured a mid tower, you could have pressured the off lane or safe lane tower, whatever it may be. There's a lot of things you could have been doing on the map rather than expending a teleport scroll and going to the other side of the map to save a core that was pretty much doomed from the beginning. Unless you're a save hero like Shadow Demon, like a Tusk, you shouldn't be rotating just as quickly. You should be paying attention to the map and noticing what could you do, what could you offer if you go to that top lane. Are you able to save your carry effectively, or is it more of you're gonna just go in and feed? Because if it is like that, it's better that you don't TP, because feeding is never going to be good. Even though you're a support, you're worth a lot less, it's still feeding. You could have been stacking for your carry to get back up and start recovering with these stacks. You could have been pushing a tower to create more space. There's a lot of things you can do on the map that you need to pay attention for, and not everything is mass TPs and mass feeding. One very important thing that Boxi is pretty good at is giving solo XP and stacking when the game is slow. You're going to see in some parts of this replay that when there's really nothing to do on the map, there's not a whole lot he can do around the map. He just goes into the triangle, stacks the ancients, and gives solo XP to his offlaner because he understands his offlaner needs levels, especially in this gameplay where it's a hero like Visage, that the more levels, the stronger the hero is going to get. So he recognizes that and he just goes away and steps away from the map. What that also does, it creates the illusion that you're missing. So they don't really know where you're at. They don't know what you're doing. They don't know if you can show up and just easily gank with another support as well. So the enemy is a little bit more scared on the movements they can do because of a hero like Tusk, because they know how quickly this hero can move around the map and they know how quickly he can join a team fight and definitely turn around with a big snowball or with a drinking buddies, or maybe trapping someone without mobility in the ice shards. All these things are very important, and you're going to notice that when Boxi is off the map, a lot of the heroes aren't actually showing because they're scared that they might be getting ganked, because this hero, that's all it does. It's one of the best things about this hero that you can gank so much and so off cooldown, because your cooldowns are so minute. You're going to be able to do a lot more around the map, and the enemy team is going to definitely feel the pressure if they're paying attention. But mostly all these micro plays add up to really big advantages. You're stacking, you're giving solo XP, you're not feeding, and at the same time, when it really comes to it, you're going to be clutching these saves when you're playing with these snowballs. And a great Tusk player will know how to do these plays. It's something you need to practice. The best Tusk players in the world can easily do this without even thinking about it and just save their teammates. It's really good up against duels and pretty much high commit lineups that commit all into one hero. You're able to disrupt that with drinking buddies and snowball, and well placed, you can even escape some really sticky situations. And once you have Blank Dagger and Aghanim Scepter, you're going to be doing a whole lot around the team fights. My favorite item on Tusk is the Aghanim Scepter, which Boxi completely ignored, which I was also very surprised by. But I guess at the same time, he wasn't really having the net worth. He wasn't able to get the space to actually farm this big item. So all he cared about was making these plays, keeping his cores alive, and doing as much as possible on the map and not really focusing too hard on the items. That's definitely what I noticed about his playing style in general, is that he doesn't really care too much about the items. And items can definitely make your life easier, but they're not the end all be all. Your plays are going to be more impactful than your items itself. So definitely don't go crazy if you don't have any items. You can make really crazy plays without having items whatsoever, depending on the nature of your hero. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys learned something, consider subscribing and joining the Dota Chronicles community. Congratulations to Team Liquid. Honestly, they deserved it. It's been such a long time since they've been grinding, since they've been together, and they honestly deserve this win. Gaimin Gladiators at the end of the day were a really strong team, but they just didn't show it, and they've been beating Team Liquid for a really long time. They've been getting second place, but they finally figured out how to actually play, and they gave Mickey his famous profit 3 games in a row, which was absolutely insane. I really don't know why they did that, but they ended up paying for it. But I'm really glad a different team has won TI, and they definitely deserve it. The stack is absolutely incredible. Nisha being one of the best mid laners in the world. By far, I think he's definitely the best right now. Obviously, after winning TI, I think he's definitely up there. Mid players like Laurel, which are always been really, really strong, but I don't think it was Laurel's best tournament, but I think it was Nisha's turn to shine. And Mickey as well. Mickey is this kind of carry player who isn't the flashiest. He's not going to get you the most amount of kills in the game, but he's always just stable, has a stable laning phase, stable mid game, doesn't feed a whole lot, and he's just a very smart player. So again, congrats to Team Liquid. Hopefully you guys learned something and enjoyed the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.